semifinals. We'll see who it is that's going to be making it to that point, as we are just about ready to jump into this third map.
Gen.G, keep an eye on Gen.G here and how they opt to play the T side later on. Never mind. Don't keep an eye on things. Koler is going to be keeping his eye on Guimon's dome with the opening headshot. Here the TPs go off, and it's just chaos that's ensuing. But the problem is, it looked like they were going to have free access onto the site. They still opt to take the TP, and they're going to get the heck out of Dodge. Go to B. Asuna's going to be the last one, playing a little bit of interference. 2 walk by. Gets 1. Able to get the second one as well. Looking for the third, and Asuna, you do it again. The spike is going to go down on the other side of the map. A painful round for Gen.G as Asuna wreaks havoc and ruins everything on the rotation. Immortals looking to take a 1-0 lead.
You've got Effys now coming through and just dive bombs the site. Really didn't have many options at that point. The Omen was waiting. The Aldrone was out. The Raze had gotten back to the site as well. Patient play from Asuna, who's switched over to the Raze. And I've seen him play the Raze before, and he does so masterfully as he waits around the corner for the peek, just gunning down 3. They did not stand a chance as they come through the showers. Gen.G fall in the pistol, so what do they decide to do? Early on, it was a hookah stack. They're just gathered up right now as this massive orb of doom, it's just a blob right now, working its way through spawn. You've only got 1 playing over in the B site. It's Brim. As you can see, the bodies are building up in that area. So early on, they had that stack towards B. It probably would have been the right call given what's currently coming that direction.
And keep an eye once again on composition. Immortals is not running a Sage, which leads me to think that we're going to see a lot of pushes on the B site. They're not going to have that short A play that has become ubiquitous with this map. So we'll see whether or not they choose to play things that way. At least in this instance, that seems to be the case. Effys and Player 1 are going to drop. They don't really have the guns to go up against the firepower of Immortals, and that's certainly proving to be the case. A flawless round. Very well off when it comes to dollar bills for Immortals, and Gen.G now we're going to get a chance to respond.
Asuna also already stupid close to that ult. 5-0-1 coming in from Asuna. So if he can get some orb control and maybe a kill here, can use that showstopper to take some of these guns away. You can see the buy coming in from Gen.G. Has a little bit more oomph as they've got the op in play. But the cash is there to fall back on because it's IMT who didn't really struggle in that previous round. So plenty of money to buy up in the round that follows. This is the closest thing to what one might consider a bonus round in Valorant. Genghsta flying the drone through the smoke, spotting one as the ice comes down. That's Effys, who's now going to peel off back towards the site. There's a 3-player defense over towards B, but they don't quite spot that out. A lot of teams, though, favoring that 3-man B-site defense, so it's not exactly uncommon. Over on A, you've got the Cypher and the Raze trying to lock things down. Koler on the lurk as the Cypher on attack. You can see the cam right now from MkaeL does spot out showers, so if he pushes out too far, he'll be able to call out that position. And it looks like they've decided to rotate off of B. So they're going to be coming back around towards A. The nade's going to go into showers. The boombot goes towards short. They're going to have to back off for just a moment while they wait for that one to disappear. And it does. And here comes the push-up short coming in from Immortals.
Interesting to see Gen.G not to rotate over until just now that the havoc has ensued on the site. There's the tripwire. It's going to delay things for just a moment. MkaeL is going to be sitting on the sideline for the rest of the round, as diceyzx is certainly not in a great situation as far as health goes as well. Yeah, 26 HP. The spike has been planted, and Gen.G's cavalry has arrived. They're going to be pushing up from the defending side of the map, but the clock is ticking. The spike is down. There's the drone going out, seeing if he can spot any intel. Koler's going to be playing from showers. He's going to spot one as well. The problem is he's been spotted back out. The Bulldog shot's not going to land. Looks like he might try to back off, but Genghsta is able to get one. It gets traded out as diceyzx drops in U-Haul. Asuna goes down as well. This looks like it's a great round for Immortals, however, as the spike is going to go off. Gen.G having to back off. Yeah, PL1's going to get an exit frag as Stani is going to be worse for wear financially, but a big round for Immortals.
Gun here. We also mentioned it. The money was a problem for Gen.G. They bought down to almost nothing. So these players surviving means they'll be able to gun juggle, potentially drop some bulldogs or even full rifles over. Yeah, there you go. So there's the bulldog from MkaeL that comes from player one. Effys has to drop the Phantom to Guimond. That means he's going to be bankrupt. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, there was so much cash left over. So Genghsta's still on the bulldog here. He's got 5,500. The op investment is in from both teams. Huynh carrying it over from the previous round. Dicey picking it up for the first time. Huynh holding showers, where we're going to see that lurk coming in from the Cypher. The camera's taken out immediately. The boom bot gives away the position of Guimond. Asuna's going to punish in the raise-on-raise battle. There's the ult pop. Asuna's going to self-detonate there with the showstopper, but it doesn't matter as the Sage goes with him, and the man advantage stays with Immortals.
The spike once again going towards B. We talked about how that might be preferred because they don't have the Sage wall. That seems to be the case so far. The numbers advantage heavily here in favor of Immortals. There's just one left on the side of Gen.G on the opposite side of the map. It looks like it's going to be Effys all the way over there. Excuse me, Huynh. Yes, Huynh, thank you. It's going to hold on to that op, try to keep it safe, get it into the next round, and it doesn't look like he's going to be challenged at all. Immortals, once again, with a hot start. We saw this on Ascent. This map, arguably not as snowbally, so to speak. Not as easy for leads to get out of control, but again, Immortals, a little bit of deja vu, if you will, from Ascent.
Yeah, a bit concerning right now, because this is exactly how Ascent started, as we watched Immortals get off to this massive string of rounds, and Gen.G just couldn't seem to do much about it. Obviously, the roles are reversed, as it was the other way around, with the attacking side for both teams being somewhat lackluster. Here, though, it's Immortals on the attacking side, striking heavily, striking early. Guimond currently not on the scoreboard, neither is MkaeL, the Cypher. So the force buy comes through. They've got the op for Huynh, and they're going to surround it with a couple of SMGs, a Sheriff, and a Shotgun, buying down to just around 2K, somewhere between 1,500 and 2,200 between the players, so they can guarantee the buy will come in the round that follows. And Huynn's got 4,200, so he's got a serious bed of cash to fall back upon for that op purchase. Again, they play aggressive inside hookah. Last time, this didn't work out so well for them, and yet again, you're going to see a similar thing as the boom bot goes in. This time, though, no advanced presence coming out from IMT, as they don't want to force the issue. They don't want to force that fight. Meanwhile, you've got Guimond, who's pushed up in Cubby. And there's a lot of players around the corner, and you can see the pings already coming through. There's the paranoia. They knew that he was there. So really well read by Immortals. And that's the A site lost, as MkaeL and player one are both in shower, surrendering site control and playing for the retake.
Unless they clear it out. Okay, there you go. They're going to clear it out. Asuna and Stani are both going to get one apiece, and that's going to be the element of surprise that they may have had is gone. Effys is going to try to keep some element of surprise as well. As he pushes up with a ghost. The problem is he just gave himself away. There's going to be an op looking at him in the hands of Dicey, excuse me. Yeah, and Dicey's going to get that kill. One left on the side of Gen.G in this round. For all intents and purposes, in the hands of Immortals. Huynh is going to do what he can to both keep the op alive and hurt the bankroll of Immortals as much as he can. But with only having dropped one member, Immortals feels fine going into this. Folks, one thing worth noting, as we talked about how good this map is for both of these squads. Both of them have a 74% win rate. Oh man, that's costly. Huynh gets another one, but again, both teams 74% win rate. 17-6 for Immortals, 20-7 for Gen.G. This is good against good for both of these squads, and right now it just seems to be the case that Immortals is good is just a bit better than Gen.G's.
This is a big round, though, coming in from Gen.G. They go with that full investment across the board. Again, they've got that op in play because Huynh has been just carrying it from round to round as they continue to go on the hunt and are unable to take it out of his hands. But it's a similar setup that we've seen from them before. A delayed wall to come in. Nope, they're not going to try and stop the Boombot, so as soon as Boombot gets taken out. But we've seen this setup before with the Sage in hookah. You've got the backup from the Raze. Brim holding down long. The nade's going to go in from Asuna. No one's in that corner. If he does decide to fake this, it could be a problem. I do love what they just tried to do with the paranoia. The nade comes in. as does the slow orb and the wall, so that'll lock them out of Hookah for the time being, but the push is going to continue to come through. The Boombot getting vertical as the Satchels blast him up into the air, but again, we're going to see a rotate out, and they're going to be heading over towards the A site, and the problem is the A site is currently vacant, so Jcstani pops the ult to get into heaven. They've got full site control. The Cypher had already started to rotate out through spawn. This is a problem for Gen.G, and over-rotate has cost them site control.
MkaeL just narrowly missing the timing on the Omen, and it looks like it's going to be a 5-on-4 just slugfest here on A. The spike has gone down. When you think about what Immortals has at their disposal to try to deny information, yeah, you've got some smokes from Jet and some smokes from Omen, but that's really it. The overstrike is going to come down as diceyzx is able to take care of MkaeL. The Hunter's Fury is going to be used as well into lamps. Asuna and Koler are able to get one apiece. Koler gets dropped in PL1, trades it back out, but Stani's able to get the last one as PL1 not able to get the third. Immortals, Boq, you mentioned how big of an investment, how big of a round this was for Gen.G. They totally fumbled it.
Yeah, they still have some cash to fall back on. You can see PL1's at 7,200. Huynh able to buy the AWP again with 1,000 left. But look at what it's done to the Cypher. MkaeL, 300 after buying a Spectre and armor. You've got 200 for PL1 after he drops some weaponry over. So, again, more investment comes out from them, but they just don't seem to be making it work. You know, we talked about it. This start is very reminiscent of what took place on Ascent. It's even more reminiscent for what happened on Haven. As yet again, you've got an early start from Immortals, and the only player who seems to be hitting his shot this early on is PL1. Player 1 finds a few kills towards the tail end of that round, but their consolation prizes as they're unable to find success. Double shock dart into that position. Now he has to get topped off by the Sage. Starts to return fire, send shots through the smoke. The wall's going to go up. That'll allow him to get out, but that means Hookah is open for business. Spam coming through the box. That pushes Huynh out of position with the AWP. He's got to be careful as well, as there's a wealth of targets built up currently inside Hookah. Spots a couple, is going to send down the shock darts. Asuna is so low on HP. Not going to connect, though, as Asuna manages to dodge that one with just 6 points of health and gets closer towards that B site.
You sneeze on him right now and he dies. Koler and Genghsta both able to get one apiece, as Stani's the only one that drops on the side of Immortals. That's going to allow access onto the site. There's the neural theft. Yeah, it's going to get the information that's needed. The spike not down yet, but it is being planted now. diceyzx with an important wall bang onto player 1. And again, Gen.G certainly worse for wear. It looks like they're going to try to back off here and save MkaeL, the last one standing. All he's going to have is a Spectre, and they can smell blood in the water. They're going to hunt him down, but MkaeL is not having any of it. Impressive kills on the way out onto Asuna and Koler, but the round going in favor of Immortals.
This is definitely not pretty right now. Gen.G just can't seem to stop Immortals on the attack. They continue to just exploit this B site. Early on, they'll put presence there, and then even rotate out towards A. And you're seeing over-rotations from Gen.G at times that has cost them rounds, as the A side resources have shifted over towards B to try and help things out, as B has proven to be somewhat of a sponge. They just push through the defense. Iman still has not gotten onto the scoreboard. 0-7 currently. Not a performance we expect from him, especially as someone who actually took us to overtime with that 1v2 clutch in round number 24 and had a strong performance on the previous map. Things just are not clicking for Gen.G. I would like to see a change and adjustment being made. Let's see what they decide to do. And that decision right now, at least for the time being, is to go aggressive towards A, as the investment coming in from them is limited. Just pistols in play for Gen.G, and 8th round all but likely for Immortals.
And it almost, Boq, it almost feels like they're, I don't know why they would gamble A. They haven't gone A. They haven't made an opening push onto A at all. It's been a response to A if they're not getting what they want or the looks that they need over on B, but it hasn't been a concerted push onto A. And now Gen.G is starting to rotate over. They gambled, a questionable gamble, and it is not paying off. They didn't have the guns for it, so you don't expect this to go super well. And yeah, that's the case. One thing to keep an eye from Immortals is we haven't seen them push up B long and then TP their way out. Gen.G does this on the attacking side where they'll send 4 up B, they'll send the Cypher over to A, and then they'll slip through if they're able to get a frag or they just don't get the look that they want. And then they tele all the way over to A. We haven't seen that from Immortals yet, and the opportunity has been there. So if Gen.G continues to invest, continues to feel like they have to force their way onto B, that might prove to be a factor.
Revealing area.
The thing is, they don't even need to do that. they haven't really faced a problem. They just walk on to B. The hookah control right now for Immortals is a serious problem for Gen.G. As Asuna continues to just be a problem. There's the paranoia in that we've seen time and time again. And this time Asuna can just dry push in, which means he saves his very deadly utility for the push onto the B site. You've still got the paint shells, you've got the blast packs there as well. Over on A, again, it's a Cypher's duel. But this time, he's got some support. The Raze is here. So now they start to rotate into position. The Raze ult being popped. Somehow it's not lethal. The nade comes out to try to do follow-up damage. There's the orbital strike on top of the spike as well. Now the problem is, Koler's tried to sneak into backside site, got spotted. Somehow the shot comes through the box. Instantaneously, he gets traded out. Now we see that portal rotate, but it's not the B to A portal. It's the A to B portal. They've lost the spike as they try to come through. The slow orb is going to at least halt the movement towards the site, but Dicey picks off at least the strongest member of the defense in that area as Huynh will fall. There's the res coming out from Effys to bring the ult back into play, but the spike will be planted, the flank coming through as well from Demon as the Raze. This is the most promising round we've seen from Gen.G, but Immortals still gets site control and still gets the spike planted.
And they might get more here. Nope. Never mind. They might not. Effys puts the stop on it, and Gen.G is finally going to get on the board. I believe Guimon may have gotten a kill there as well. That could have been his first one of the map. We'll take a look here to see if that's the case. But Immortals, for as much as yeah, Guimon was able to get one finally on the board at 1 and 8. And for Immortals, it's a bit of a different look. But like you said, Boq, even at the numbers disadvantage, they were able to get on site. They were able to plant the spike, and they were able to take a member of Gen.G with them. So maybe this is the turning point for Gen.G. You remember on Ascent, it was 8-4 at half with how strong of a start Immortals had. Gen.G was able to equalize it at 8-4, and that's what led us to overtime. So Gen.G trying to replicate that success, but I don't know, Boq, if you agree or not, but this one seems a bit more difficult than what was happening on Ascent. Showstopper has been used. The op shot's going to be missed. As it doesn't connect, it's still going to be a 5v5. You hear them pushing onto the side. Asuna and Player 1 are able to get a kill apiece. Player 1 gets one as well as Koler drops, but Genghsta, is going to be able to trade it out. You see reinforcements coming on the mini-map from the defending side, but the spike is going to go down. That's going to leave things in a 3v3. The Raze on the side of Immortals certainly worse for wear. I believe that's Asuna. Dicey? Yep, Dicey's is going to be able to connect. Back at spawn, able to connect again, looking for the third. Effys, the last one standing on the side of Gen.G. Back in their spawn. There's not a whole lot of entry points onto this site. Things look pretty well locked down for Immortals. Effys might try to get an exit frag on the way out, and looks like it may get an opportunity on the Dicey's, depending on which way he opts to get out of here. But no, he's going to get away with relative safety. Effys not able to get an exit frag. Immortals find themselves up 9-1 over Gen.G, and things do not look good if you're a fan of Gen.G.
This is rough right now. Hookah control continues to be a problem. Asuna it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing every single round, and Gen.G does not have a solution. You can see what they're going to set up every time. They're going to use Asuna's bomb bot in mid. It's going to go around the corner, and then they're going to paranoia to allow Asuna to push in. You're going to see a response of a smoke to try and slow them down, maybe a slow orb as well. Now, they did start shifting over the rays to do some nade damage should they try to push in, and that's what slowed things down a little bit at times. But ultimately, this continues to work, so why would they change it? They're just going to continue to do it over and over and over again. So there's the boom bot again coming through, again going to get taken down. They're going to wait for that slow orb to fade. What I do at least like here from Gen.G is a little bit of risk-taking, as you've seen Huynh push up on short. So here's the Aljone going in. There's the Boombot in response. The Paranoia is about to come out for the peak. There's the nade going down. The blast pack's not going to work out well for Kimon, as Asuna is just too ready for it. Right around the corner is Effys. Only one kill coming through from the Sage. Immediately traded out. Paint shells going out towards backside. Forces the Cypher inside the tuna can. They're going to work their way out as MkaeL is on site through that box. Able to pick off Jcstani, but now the ult's been popped. MkaeL still finds one more before being taken down. And that makes things at least a little bit more interesting. It's a 2-on-2. The Hunter's Fury popped by Huynh over in spawn to delay the plant. One pulse will connect. He's got the AWP, and he's moving into position. Going to use the Al drone, though, to try to get some intel. There's the shot from the AWP of Dicey to prevent that from putting a dart in the belly and giving away the position. Now the ult's been popped from Jet, so the Blade Storm is out. You've got PL1 currently in hookah. The retake is underway.
The clock is ticking as well. They don't have a ton of time to work with Huynh, getting a huge kill there onto Dicey, and player one gets the last one. Asuna drops. They're able to get to the defuse, and that hope remains for Gen.G. It's slim. There's not a ton of hope there, but at least for now, it exists.
Just a ridiculous game coming out from Asuna, and not really much of a response from the opposition. I mean, Kimon, when you look at the comparison between the two raises, 16-7 for Asuna, 1-10 for Kimon. He is just having a rough game. He just can't seem to make it work. And that's a problem when your Raze, who is a primary damage dealer, is not dealing much damage. It's not like he's got 10 assists. He's got 4. So it's not even like he's getting people to 10 HP and falling in that fight. It's just not working out well for him at all. And I don't want to harp about his performance, but it is an indicator of a problem. Again, there's the Paranoia lead in. This time, though, they throw the Soul Orb a little bit later, and that's what works out well for them. So Huynn's going to just post up with the Operator. I love the confidence this time around from Huynh, despite the fact that the score is spiraling out of control in favor of Immortals. Huynh doesn't lose that confidence, and that's what allows him to take that aggressive position. The pulse is coming out from the Hunter's Fury, not going to connect on the players on site. Did send one pulse in towards hookah. That drops the Sova down just a bit. Gimon's on the flank, and he's just chilling in this position. You've got the Jet over on long. You've got Koler lurking on A. He's going to pop the ult. That's why Gimon goes to the swing, and it works out nicely for him as both players fall. It's all up to Koler. And he's stuck now inside the point. It's going to be a third round here for Gen.G, so I guess that's icing on the cake, but this is a pretty crappy cake if you're a fan of Gen.G.
Is there a certain cake that you really don't like, Boq?
Carrot cake. Come on now. It's named after a vegetable, so you know it sucks.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. No, it's a good point.
A fruitcake is also pretty bad. A fruitcake is like, hey, we were gonna make you a cake. Just kidding. It's fruit. But
Here,
I would
take
say
some nutrients.
Yeah, I would say, you know, if you're gonna try and sneak some vitamins and minerals into my body, that's theft. So I would consider fruitcake and carrot cake to be up in that territory. I actually, you know, I don't mind the taste of carrot cake so much, but let's be real, it's not cake. It's just not. It doesn't count.
Revealing area.
Immortals having all of the cake that they want, and good cake too. None of that fruitcake nonsense or anything else that's going on. They find themselves up 9-3 here. Unfortunately, we don't want to forget about what happened here. There's no need for a short memory. This is very similar to what we saw on Ascent. And well, we know how that ended. If you don't know, welcome. You tuned in at just the right time. Gen.G was able to force overtime and win the map. So they're going to look to have a repeat performance here, but it's such a Herculean effort that you wonder whether or not they can do it twice. Once alone is difficult enough, but to be able to execute that on more than one occasion is, well, it's damn impressive, to be honest. Gen.G showing an early B look here, which is not typical for what we see from them. When we saw them play this map against TSM, on the attacking side, they went A and played that A short 9 times in that half. Just a couple of times they went up through showers, but by and large, it was an A short, and it was a heavy investment into A. So to see them open it on B side is interesting. Maybe they don't want to show a lot because it's a pistol round. Whatever the case may be, they're opting to play things a bit differently. There's that wall that we've lacked so much on the first half, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter as Koler and Jcstani get 2 kills apiece.
Gen.G, you were hopeful that they'd come out swinging in the pistol round, but that is not the case as Immortals picks up where they left off in the first half. And they're just a bunt away right now from closing out this third map. We saw such an impressive comeback from Gen.G that I don't want to count them out, but the deficit is going to be so large. As they opt to full save here, it's an understandable position to find yourselves in. The next round, they're going to find themselves at 11-3 unless they somehow manage to walk away with success here, working with just classics. But at this point, I'd be amazed if they could get a bomb plant out of this. The spike working its way up short with the rest of the squad. We'll see if they're able to get out there. They do have the Sage Wall, so they can go for that classic 3-smoke Sage Wall push onto the A site, something that we didn't see from Immortals due to the lack of Sage in that first half. Koler currently sitting towards U-Haul. Gonna send at least one dart down. The recon dart goes in as well, and Koler's gonna clean up right now. That 3 on the push, make it 4 for Koler. Again, we mentioned it was gonna be difficult. Not a single kill comes through for Gen.G. No site control, no spike plant. Everything laid on the table here.
That's the second time we see Immortals win the pistol round and then have a flawless round on the eco for Gen.G. And Koler, it's just too easy at this point, right? They're just walking into his crosshair. See the spike drop as well. It's just too easy. Now, Gen.G, if you're Gen.G, this is do or die. Now you've got guns. Now you've got money. And your backs are against the ropes. You've got to respond, and you've got to do it here. It's going to be another push on to B. They have the utility to make a play here. This time you don't see the Cypher lurking over on A as well. So there's no way to really clear the site and then potentially take the telly around with the information that they have. It looks like for now it's a pretty dedicated B push, but it's a slow one, as you don't see them making their way much past B long quite yet. Now they're going to start to creep their way out of the garden. Asuna's going to get pushed back. As the cavalry arrives, Asuna is able to get the first one. Effys goes down as he's going to get tagged up. Diceyzx, you see him running for the fences as well, trying to provide a little bit of support, but G&D and MkaeL, player 1, they're falling apart. Immortals is getting picked off left and right. Genghsta follows suit as well. 1 left on the side of Immortals. That's going to be Koler, and he's not around for long. Gen.G put up an impressive round, an important round to keep this thing going.
Again, we talked about it. They were able to muster up a comeback in that last map. Just the problem is the lead is so big. And it just doesn't feel like the first half should be the way that it was. You look at Ascent and you see those one-sided score lines, sometimes favoring the defense, sometimes favoring the attack. You don't really see that as much at this level of play on Bind. Promising thing, at least Gimon's starting to shake off the rust and wake up a little bit. He had a very disappointing first half. But as much as we've talked about the way that Gen.G made mistakes and perhaps underplayed, we haven't really spent enough time talking about how well IMT played in that first half. And one of those big pieces was Asuna. He played oh so good. Here is Boombot's going to give away the position of Gimon, who's going to be a little bit leery as the nades go flying past one another inside the dark cover. Neither one's nades doing much damage. Gimon going to take a bit of a chip shot there from the blast pack, sends one back. It's a fun little fight currently taking place over in Hookah. But the bulk of players are actually working up through Garden and onto this B site through Long. The wall's going to come down so they can try to get access onto the site, prevent the push to come through. And there's 2 quick kills, make it 3 coming in from the defense as Genghsta and Dicey slow this one down. Effys goes over top of his own wall, and Gimon now coming through finally from Hookah, but it's all up to Effys, who has to chisel away at his own ice. It's a 1-on-3 with 40 seconds left, and the spike down in their possession. Nice quick shot coming out onto Dicey, but there's still 2 targets that remain.
Revealing area.
A difficult situation here for Effys. It seems like they know where he is, and if they didn't before, they certainly do now. Makes his way up elbow. Again, in a 1v2 here. Whoa, somehow manages to play his advantage and get one. Oh, he's able to get one, yeah. But he's not going to be around for long. Genghsta lands the finishing bullets on that kill. That's going to bring Immortals 1 round away from advancing. And look, let's make let's not beat around the bush here, okay? Immortals has dismantled Gen.G. From top to bottom, it has been a clinic on how to run the attacking side on this map, and they seem to be doing the exact same on the defending side. Immortals has just played this so well against Gen.G here.
And we talked about it coming into the series, how good Gen.G's looked since the addition of Dicey, and since the role juggle that's resulted following that. We've talked about their sageless composition and how well it seems to work for them. I'm thoroughly impressed with how well Immortals has been playing, because while they were never necessarily a bad team, the level has definitely amplified, and you can see it here as they crush the push on A. The res is going to come through and bring things back to 3 for Gen.G, but there's 5 that remain on the opposite side for Immortals. The nade comes out, pushing Jcstani out of position, and the dart in his belly means the spam's going to come through. The nade's in, and not much can be done about that. The ult's going to get popped. That's the showstopper, the rocket for Gimon. He's looking to just try and fade out position as somebody sends a rocket deep into the site. And you can see the second rocket coming out as well from the defense. It's all falling apart here. Gimon picks off one, making a follow-up for Effys, so hold on just a second. While Gen.G may have been on the back foot here, they've managed to bring this to a 2-on-3, and the heal comes through onto Gimon to bring things back to full HP. But you've still got Dicey locking down the spike from Showers with the op.
Healer down.
Yep, that's going to connect. That's going to bring them down to 1, and not for long, ladies and gentlemen. Immortals cap